Welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight. College Heights Christian here at Cassville to take on the Cassville Wildcats. Just about ready to start kickoff. College Heights is taking the field. Cassville's just taking the field now. The Cougars will start with the ball. I have Noah Haley and Gavin Dahl up top for the Cougars. Across the midfield is Max Anreder, Michael Perigin, Ben Schumacher, and Derek Bowman. And across the back, Liam Nelson playing the left fullback, Stephen Calandro, left center back, Braden Youngberg, right center back, and Zach Beatty on the right fullback position. Rush Stewart in the goal for the Cougars. Ref checking with both goalies to make sure they're ready, and we'll have the opening whistle. Okay, and we're underway. Ball played to the near side for Beatty. Beatty pokes it into Schumacher. Schumacher drops back to Calandro on the back. Calandro gets pressured. Youngberg's there. Youngberg has time. Plays it into the middle for Anreder. Anreder settles with his chest. Looks for the through ball. A little heavy up to that back line for Cassville. Cleared away into the middle of the field. Perigin comes over to challenge. Perigin wins the ball in the middle. Chips it in to Dahl making the run. Dahl into the box on the far side. Anreder at the top of the box. Drops it to Schumacher. Schumacher at 35 takes the strike and sends it over the goal. Goal kick for Cassville. They do a twist here as our camera is a little loose. All right, sorry about that. Goal kick into a sprint for the back line. And the Cougars are able to win the battle, put it back into the midfield. Schumacher wins on the near side over to Bowman. Bowman loses it out of bounds. Throw in for the Wildcats. Wildcats play it on the near side. Drop back to the fullback. He tries to play it back, but too heavy. Out of bounds. Throw in for the Cougars. Bowman down the line over Haley's head. Goes to the corner. It's still in. Perigin gets down there to it, but out of bounds, and goal kick again for the Wildcats. Quick restart, knocks off his own player. Perigin's in the middle to settle. Tackled by the Wildcat player to steal possession. Perigin's back to it. Light on the touch and stolen away by the Wildcats. Played into a through ball as Youngberg's back to defend. Ball played into the top of the box. Youngberg clips it away with the side of his foot, and Nelson gets over to send it out of the box. Anreder comes down and clears it to the far side. Cassville in possession, played into the middle with some space. Ball switched over to the near side. At the top of the box, Youngberg defending up front. Beatty comes over to challenge. Ball chipped in into the box. He's able to get there. Onside, has the ball. Late help coming, and that's a goal for the Wildcats. All right, back to the game action. Cassville now with a 1-0 lead. Schumacher pushes the ball into the middle on the kickoff. Has some room, switches the field to Bowman. Bowman comes over to play it, knocks it off the Wildcat player. Throw in for the Cougars. Ball entered into Dahl. Dahl cuts it across and goes all the way through to the far corner. Wildcats save it in play. Nelson steps up. Perigin comes back for the ball, drops it to Calandro. Calandro back over to Nelson. Nelson chips it into Schumacher. Schumacher tries to settle with his chest still on the ball. Has room in the middle. Schumacher looking at his options. Plays to space. Perigin sends it to the near side and way out of bounds. Throw in for the Wildcats. Ball played down the near side. Youngberg's there, chips it back in. Dahl tries to settle it. Challenge in the air. 50-50 ball, and Cassville's able to clear. Wildcats up to the middle. Nelson's there to defend. Ball played through into a run for the Wildcats. Heavy on the touch as Stewart's able to come up and grab it. Side spinning ball by Stewart into the middle of the field. Dow's there. Dow settles, loses his feet. Perigin back on the ball. Perigin tries to chip it in to the box, and the keeper comes up and easily retrieves it. Inbound for the Cougars on the far side. Anredder over there to take the throw in. Dahl gets to the ball. Youngberg one touches to Perigin. Perigin plays it into the box. Bowman will chase. And out of bounds, that will be a goal kick again for the Wildcats. Wildcats play out of the back this time off the goal kick. Switch to the right side center back. Into the pivot, played back to the number 20 on the back line. And Redder comes in and gets a deflection, and the Wildcats are able to clear up to Nelson on the far side. Nelson heads it back in. Schumacher in the middle, drops it back to Nelson. Calandro clears it off the back line into Dahl. On to Perigin on the run. Perigin takes the shot and goes well over the goal. And another goal kick for the Wildcats. Ball played into the middle of the field, this time off the goal kick. Dahl comes over as Bowman comes over to pressure. Schumacher there on the ball, trying to get position. Wildcats play it up ahead. Perigin steals. Perigin sends it through for Bowman to run under. Bowman fighting for the ball. Played over to the keeper. Chipped away with the outside of his foot. Tried to control in the middle of the field. Perigin steals. Perigin setting up his shot. Takes the strike, deflect away. Bowman's there with his left and goes wide of the frame, but good opportunity for the Cougars. 7 minutes in, Cassville leading 1-0. Goal kick for the Wildcats. Restart with the goal kick, played to the middle, off of his back. Nelson steps up, heads it in. Haley comes back to try to win it. Ball into the middle of the field for Schumacher. Schumacher trying to control it, and does. Pushing forward into the middle, into some space. Drops off, looking at his options, has some room in the middle, takes the shot, and again sends it over. Wildcats again out of the back. Schumacher steps in and wins it. Schumacher looking into the middle, pushes through, takes the shot, good strike, far post. Goes out of play, much better shot that time, and another goal kick for the Wildcats. Wildcats again on the goal kick. Big Back spinning ball. Youngberg's able to win it with his head in the middle for Perigin. Perigin tries to turn, stolen away by the Wildcats. Perigin back to the ball. Cuts it across, deflected away by the Wildcats. Sent over the top. Looks like everyone's on that's running. Nelson's able to get there. Nelson shielding for position, plays it down the far side. Up ahead for Perigin. Anredder gets there to the ball. Anredder looking for Schumacher in the middle of the field. Will carry. Plays it back over to Perigin off the mark, though, and will go out of bounds. Throw in for the Wildcats. Wildcats making a substitution. Throw in down the far side, back to the inbounder. Schumacher comes up to pressure the ball. Perigin steps in and deflects. Anredder sends it to Nelson. Nelson sends it through. Dahl's chasing, and so is Haley. Wildcats are able to make the turn, send it down the far side. Nelson comes in and deflects. And free kick called, it looks like, for the Wildcats on the challenge by Nelson. 30 minutes left here in the first half. Wildcats leading 1-0. Ball played in, looks like he's off. Nope, they say he's on as the pressure's in the box. Calandro is able to clear it over to Nelson on the far side. Nelson with his left down the line. Back line's there to settle. With his chest, played to the far side. Perigin wins it. Perigin sends it through for Anredder on the run. Anredder running down the line. Cuts back play. And poked away by the Wildcats. Calandro steps up and wins the ball. Calandro pushing into space. Still on the ball. Calandro making a run, looking at his options. Drops for Schumacher. Schumacher looking to make a move. Drops it back to Youngberg. Youngberg back to Calandro on the ground. Calandro over to Schumacher. Good action by the Cougars. Schumacher pushing into space. Still on the ball. Gets to the box. Schumacher looking at his options. Gets pushed from behind and knocked off the ball. Poked away by Beatty. Perigin taking the shot. And good save by the keeper. Goes to the far corner, the near corner, and out of bounds. Throw in for the Cougars. Bowman throws it into Perigin. Perigin bicycles it over, and the keeper's there to grab it. Big punt by the keeper. Calandro and Youngberg chase back. Nobody coming from the Wildcats as it goes all the way into the box, and Stewart's there to receive it. Stewart side spinning ball into the middle. Perigin's there. Bounces over him. Dahl's there. Bounces over him too. Haley's there and bounces over the third player and won by the Wildcats. Sent up ahead. Youngberg gets it with his right high into the air. Schumacher comes over to settle. Schumacher heads it forward down the near side. Battle for possession on the near side as the Wildcats are able to get it back to the middle. Sent across as Nelson comes in. Nelson heads it over to Beatty, but out of play, and throw in for the Wildcats. Wildcats looking to make a quick throw, but sub at the line, and ref will hold it up for the sub to come in. Throw in for the Wildcats down the near side. Youngberg defending. Good ball controlled by two. Youngberg's able to knock it away. And another throw in for the Wildcats. Ball into the box. Schumacher gets up. Deflected away. Nelson clears it. Up to Haley. Bounces over Haley's head. Perigin comes in. Gets a touch into the middle. Dahl's leaking out. Perigin gets back to the ball, sends it through to Dahl. Dahl's there at the top. Dahl's still on it, gets set, and can't put anything on it, and goes harmlessly to the keeper. Good attack by the Cougars. And the Wildcats will punt it away. Big punt by the keeper. Looks like it's going to get all the way back again. Bounces over Calandro. Calandro heads it up into the air. And whistle blown. Foul called. Off the ball foul. Called on the Cougars. And free kick for the Wildcats at, call it 30 out. Number 2 for the Wildcats sets up to take the kick, puts it on frame, and good save by Stewart to knock it wide. That would be a corner kick for the Wildcats. Ball sent in off the quick restart short, but over the top, and goal kick again for the Cougars. Youngberg's back to take the goal kick. Subs coming in the game for the Wildcats. Boney getting loose on the sideline to sub in. Youngberg takes the goal kick into the middle of the field. Perigin gets a good touch in the Cougars' direction. Deflected away into the middle. Bowman sent it across. Cassville bicycle kicks over. Calandro comes in and gets a header. Dahl tries to settle it to Schumacher, stolen away by the Wildcats. Sent all the way through and chased back for the ball. Miscommunication by the back line and Stewart, and sent over the top. Goal kick for the Cougars. Youngberg again for the goal kick. Youngberg into the middle of the field. Dahl tries to settle. Back into transition for the Wildcats, and Youngberg's able to clear away to the near side. Fight for the ball in the air. It goes off the Wildcats and throw in for the Cougars. Perigin comes down to take the quick throw. Throws it up to Haley. Haley's able to get to it and win it back to Bowman. Bowman plays it across to Dahl. Dahl in possession, drops it back to Schumacher. Schumacher on the ball, being defended by one. Schumacher carries back to the middle, switches the field off the frame, and the Wildcats steal. Wildcats down the far side, played through. Ref has his flag down. Both players wanted an offside. The ref wouldn't give it. And 2-0 the score. A restart for the Cougars, down 2-0. Ref asking for a different ball. Ref restarts the clock. 2-0 now the score. Perigin in the middle of the field, plays it over to Anredder on the far side. Schumacher comes in and wins the ball in the middle. Schumacher with some room, is able to get through into the box and cleared away for a corner kick. Corner kick for the Cougars. Cougars stacked on the far side. Bowman short on the right, on the near side. Sent into the box. Pearson gets up for the header, sends it back wide of the frame. Youngberg tries to keep it in, and that'll be a goal kick for the Wildcats. Boney subbing in the game for Haley up top. Goal kick restart to the far side. Nelson's there. Nelson heads it forward to Boney. Boney receives it with his chest. Boney into the middle. Pearson pops it high into the air. Headed away by the Wildcats into the middle of the field. Nelson's holding them on this time. And Stewart again all the way back. And is able to get up and clear it. Calandro clears it away and throw in for the Wildcats. Ball played in the middle, stolen away by Beatty. Beatty has some room. Beatty plays it through to Dow. Dow trying to find the ball. And Cassville sends it through. Nelson has to clear. Wildcats will get the throw in. Wildcats on the far side taking the throw in the middle of the field, in the middle of the box. Calandro heads it away. Enright gets there to clear. Chase for the ball as Boney's able to get to it to pressure. Bowman steps back. Ball played into the middle. Boney's there to steal. Boney's trying to leave it for Pearson. Plays it down to the far side. Nobody's there as Dahl will chase. And throwing for the Wildcats on the far side. Ball settled by the Wildcats into the middle of the field. Nelson deflects. Schumacher in the middle for the challenge. Won by the Wildcats. Played through. Youngberg's over. And Youngberg's able to clear. Throw in for the Wildcats on the near side. Schumacher steps in. Loses his feet. And off of the Cougars, throwing for the Wildcats. Thrown into the middle. Good one touch to the corner. Played back across the box. Nelson steps in. Pearson's on the ball. Pearson has some time, plays it into space. Deflected into the Cougars' advantage. Dahl gets back to the ball. Dahl over to Pearson. Bowman's over there. Pearson on the near side down the line. Sends it in and all the way over. And still in play, goes all the way to the flag. That'll be a throw-in for the Wildcats. Ball into the middle. Wildcats clear. Beatty misjudges the bounce. And Wildcats get it with some space. Sent through for the run. Calandro chases back. And Calandro sweeps it away. Still in play on the far side. Wildcats play it back to the back line. Dahl chases in. Nelson clears to the far side. Dahl's over there to the ball. Stolen away by the Wildcats. Nelson comes in and makes the challenge from behind. Gets called for the foul. And free kick for the Wildcats. Chipped into the box. Beatty misjudges the ball in the air, goes over top of him. Cassville's there on the far side, on the near side in the corner. Back into the box, cut back, and Calandro comes over and clears it away into the corner. That will be a throw-in for the Wildcats down in the near side corner. Ball thrown into the box, turn and shot, and Stewart's there to grab it. Cougars running out in the midfield. Perigin and Schumacher going to space. Stewart top spinning ball into the middle, over everybody. Perigin gets back to it. Perigin on the run, carries it to the far side, has some space, gives it back to Dahl. Dahl drops to Anredder in the middle, and Anredder over to Schumacher. Schumacher's able to settle. Looks to make a move, plays it over to Perigin, goes wide to Perigin. Maybe that was over to Bowman. And cleared away by the Wildcats. Perigin takes the throw in into the box as Anredder's running. Anredder receives it in the box with his chest, gets to the edge, plays it back across. Bowman steps in and takes the one touch and goes off the side of the goal. Goal kick for the Wildcats. 15 minutes left to play here in the first half. Wildcats leading 2-0. Restart out of the back. Played into the middle. Perigin's able to get there, plays it forward. Tried to get it to Schumacher, but off target. Wildcats steal and have some room as Perigin comes back to defend. Perigin gets around and steals. Perigin being defended by one, is able to get past. Looks to set up the shot, takes the strike far post, and deflected away by the keeper. Corner kick for the Cougars. Schumacher comes over to take the corner. Schumacher sends a ball in and goes past everyone, will go out of bounds. Wildcats get the throw in on the near side. Throw in into the middle, Youngberg's there. Youngberg cuts it back. Looking to set up his shot, gets challenged from behind. Wildcats steal. Perigin steps in, slide tackle, wins possession, gets to his feet. Perigin pokes through to Boney. Boney tries to 1-2 it, still on the ball, leaves it for Schumacher. Anredder's there also. Anredder takes the shot. And the Wildcats are able to clear. Nelson steps in, gets it back to Youngberg. Youngberg switches it to the near side for Bowman. Bowman steps up and wins it. Tries to leave it for Perigin, deflected away by the Wildcats, and throw in for the Cougars. Bowman down the line to Perigin. Perigin, patient, tries to send it across. High into the air, still in play. Headed back into the middle. Schumacher's there and cleared away by the Wildcats. Beatty steps in. High into the air as Anredder tries to fight for position. Wildcats win and look to play through. On the run as Calandro chases back. And heavy touch as Stewart comes up, still in play. Calandra tries to clear and is able to as Enred chases back. Wildcats still on the ball. Nelson comes in and draws the foul. It will be a free kick for the Cougars. And we're going to stop the clock as Nelson gets a yellow card for the retaliation after the foul. It'll be a free kick for the Cougars on the restart. Ball played up ahead. Boney's there, heads it up into the air. Ball played forward. Beatty, good touch to settle. Beatty into the middle for Schumacher. Schumacher has time. Plays it back to Youngberg. Youngberg with time also. Over to Calandro. Calandro carries in the middle. Calandro still pressuring the ball on the steal and goes to the far side out of bounds, throwing for the Wildcats. Nelson back in the game for the Cougars after the yellow card sub off. As NATO subs back out. Illegal throw in by the Wildcats. And the Cougars will get the throw in. Perigin comes down to take the quick restart. No opening, so he gives it back into the middle for Youngberg as he comes up. Youngberg looking to take the shot, deflected away. Bowman fighting for the ball. Cleared to the near side. Beatty in front. Schumacher steps in to challenge the ball. Cleared away down the near side as Youngberg comes over and goes out of bounds, throwing for the Cougars. Youngberg throws it in to Perigin, over top of Perigin to Schumacher. Schumacher loses his feet and draws the foul. Free kick for the Cougars. Perigin looking to take a restart. Ten minutes left here in the first half. Wildcats leading 2-0. Cougars stacked to the left side. Bowman's the only one to the right. Perigin strikes on goal and goes over the top. And free goal kick for the Wildcats. Wildcats were trying to play an offside trap there, but Perigin was taking a shot on goal, so it didn't really matter unless, of course, there was a goalie save, which would have put the Cougar players offside. Goal kick restart to the near side, played through to the far side. Nelson chases back. Nelson looking to get position, shielding the ball. Nelson plays it back into the middle and loses his feet, gets back to it. Ball goes out of bounds, throwing for the Wildcats. Perigin steals on the throw-in, has some room. Plays it up to Schumacher. Schumacher chases. Back in the middle, stolen by Perigin, over to Beatty. Beatty with a good touch and is able to maintain possession over to Schumacher. Schumacher cuts it back into the middle with some space. Schumacher still on the ball, making the run. Plays it up to Beatty on the overlap. Beatty cuts it into Dahl, cleared away by the Wildcats, but back to Beatty. Wildcats keep it in. Beatty pokes it forward. And fight for the ball as Beatty knocks it out of bounds, throwing for the Wildcats. Subs coming in the game for the Wildcats. 8:30 left to play here in the first. Restart a play, throw in down the near side. Perigin tries to get a touch on it. They're able to get through Youngberg. Calandro comes over. Into the box, still on the ball. Takes the shot off the near post, and goal kick for the Cougars. Good opportunity for the Wildcats, and just a misunderstanding of positioning by the Cougars again on the back line. Pressure cover balance is the name of the game. When the wing goes to pressure, the center backs have to go to cover, and instead they're staying flat. And it's cost us 2 goals already. No, I shouldn't say that. It cost us 1 goal. The other goal was just miscommunication in the box. Good clear by the keeper all the way upfield. That probably went 70 yards. Youngberg's there, sends it high into the air as Calandro tries to settle. Calandro with his chest and clears it away. That will be a throw-in for the Wildcats. 7 minutes left to play here in the first. Ball inbound to the middle, drop back to the left fullback. Cut across the box. Calandro is defending in front. Shot and goes wide. And just have to wonder what we're doing today. We got Nelson, 5 goals in the last 2 games, playing the left fullback for some reason. Taking it from the top of the box, so there must have been a handball or some foul. Youngberg plays it to the middle. Wildcats possess first, but stolen away by Anredder. Bowman's got a chance to run through and drop back to the keeper to send it high into the air. Youngberg gets position and makes the steal. Has space in front, sends it in for Dow. Dow settles with his chest. Stays on the ball, looking for his options, and stolen away by the Wildcats, cleared away. And throw in for the Cougars on the near side. Bowman down the line, thrown in, cleared away with the header by the Wildcats. And Bowman back to the ball for another throw-in. Plays it into the box. Loose ball as Bowman comes in. Wildcats playing it out of the back and cleared away. Dow comes over to take the throw-in. Drops it back to Beatty. Quick throw-in for Cassville off after the illegal throw by Dow. Still Cassville's ball. Wildcats on the near side, play it back into the middle. One touch through. Youngberg comes over and clears. Number 2 gets into the box, and Calandro is there to clear. Calandro draws the foul. Youngberg takes the restart up to Perigin over his head. Dow's able to settle. Dow chips it up in the air. Perigin gets it forward to Boney. Boney on the ball. Plays it across to Bowman. Bowman gets a touch into the box, and the keeper's able to come up and grab it. Big punt again by the keeper. Calandro tries to get a touch but can't. Takes the shot, and another goal for the Wildcats. Three nothing for the Wildcats. 4:07 left to play here in the first half. Ball dropped back to Schumacher. Back to Youngberg. Youngberg to Beatty. Stolen away by the Wildcats into the middle of the field. Beatty plays it back into the middle. And the Wildcats lose it out of bounds. Bowman for the quick throw in down the line. Had Perigin in the middle, if you could have seen him. Dow wins it. Back to Bowman, who one touches it in. Bergen tries to head it forward. Cleared away by the Wildcats. Nelson's there. Bounces high in the air. Nelson bicycle kicks it back into the middle. And another run for the Wildcats. Cut back to the middle and shot. And 4-0 Wildcats. Cougars will restart play with the kickoff to Schumacher. Plays it through to Perigin on the run. Deflected away by the Wildcats. Chipped in, and Schumacher's there to settle. Schumacher carries to the far side. Sends it down the line for Anredder to run under. Ball played into the middle of the field. Through again. And Calandra has to clear away. Flag up. Offside call for the Wildcats. Free kick for the Cougars. A little over 2 minutes left to play here in the first. 4-0 Wildcats. Youngberg ball into the middle. Perigin heads it into space. Perigin gets around. He has room in front. Perigin cuts it back into the middle. Looking to set up his shot. Drops it back. Oh, looked like he had Schumacher. Couldn't find him. Still on the ball. Perigin still holding. Sends it to the corner and loses it out of bounds. Throwing for the Wildcats. Into the middle, Perigin steals. Over to Bowman. Bowman plays it across. Anredder's there. Chase for the ball again. Beatty gets back. And Beatty clears it away. Throw in, chipped up into the air by the Wildcats. Nelson sends it away. Dahl chases back and gets to the ball. Dahl tries to play it through to Schumacher, but mistouches and stolen away by the Wildcats. Calandro comes in and wins possession. 10 seconds left in the half. 5 seconds! And that will do it for the first half. All right, after one half of play, Cassville dominating 4-0. Tough sun out here tonight, and that's definitely playing a role. So the Cougars will have the sun at their backs here in the second half. All right, guys, we're back, ready to start the second half. The Wildcats will start with the ball. Wildcats facing the sun this half. Cougars with the sun at their back. Let's see if that can change their fortune at all. Wildcats are a well-coached team, and that really showed here in the first half. Looks like the Cougars' change was to move Nelson to the center back instead of moving Nelson up top. So we'll see how that gets us back in the game. And the Wildcats play it all the way in to start the half. Goes out of play. Goal kick for the Cougars. Youngberg back to take the goal kick. Low ball in the middle. Schumacher heads it forward. Won by the Wildcats back into the middle. Back to Calandro. Played on the ground to Schumacher. Schumacher shields and gets it to Anredder. To Schumacher with space in the middle. Schumacher taking space. Plays it over to Perigin on the run on the far side. Perigin gets around the ball, chips it in. Dowell's there. Dowell tries to settle. Plays it over to Bowman on the backside. Bowman jumps in. Haley gets over to it, circles around the ball, sends it back. Schumacher takes the shot and scores. And Ben Schumacher with a goal to start the second half. 38:52, 38:53 official time on the clock. And good goal for Schumacher and the Cougars to start the second half. Wildcats again restart play by sending it out of play. Flander comes over to the near side to take the throw in. Played down the line with Anredder out in front. Anredder comes in and gets to the ball and tapped away by the Wildcats into possession. Dahl comes over to pressure. Anredder deflects out of bounds. Throw in for the Wildcats. Played back into the middle. Good move down the near side. Played up ahead. Youngberg comes in and clears. Haley comes back and gets pushed off the ball. Played to the far side. Wildcats playing the overlap on the far side. Sent in and Youngberg clears. Haley chases down. Bowman gets there. Bowman keeps it in. Plays it across and goes out the end line. Goal kick for Wildcats. Goalie set up to take the goal kick. Played into the middle of the field. Perigin's there. Gets a touch. Wins it off of his chest. Loses it in the midfield to the Wildcats. Perigin tries to stay on pressure. Wildcats playing to space on the near side. Cut down the line as Calandro chases back. Sent into the box. Stewart trying to decide what to do. Played across. And Beatty gets a touch off his heel to clear it out of the box. Wildcats back into possession at the top. Sent into the box. Youngberg steps up, gets through. Calandro slide tackles and still fight for the ball. Schumacher back to the ball. Wildcats still into the box. Shot over the goal. And goal kick for the Cougars. Sloppy play in the box. A good threat for the Wildcats, but the Cougars are able to hold. And goal kick for the Cougars. Youngberg with a good kick to the far side. Headed down by the Wildcats. Bowman's able to win it and play it through to Dow. Dow fights for possession but can't get to it. And played down the far side. Beatty's there. Beatty steals. Tries to play it through to the middle. Instead plays it up to Dow. Dow cuts it back to Beatty. Beatty holds and takes up some space. Plays it to the middle to Dow. Dow holds. To Schumacher on the diagonal run. Schumacher carries across. Cuts it back, has some room, takes the shot, deflected away by the Wildcats to the far side for Bowman. Bowman leaves it for Perigin. Perigin tries to play down the line to Bowman, stolen away by the Wildcats. Schumacher comes up to pressure the ball. Wildcats get it to the far side and into the middle to some space. Back into the middle of the field with some room for the Wildcats. Confusion at the top as Nelson pressures. Perigin comes in and gets a touch on the ball and stolen away by Calandra, played up to Anredder. Perigin gets back in and steals in the middle with a lot of room. Perigin has room to carry. He makes a move at the top of the box, takes the shot, and sends it over. Goal kick for Wildcats. Good opportunity for Perigin to carry up to the top of the box. Just got a little underneath it. Goal kick for the Wildcats up to Calandro. Calandro heads it forward. Fight for the ball in the middle. Calandro wins. Over to Perigin. Perigin sends it to the far side. Headed to the middle for Haley to run under. And Haley can't get to it. Schumacher comes in and steals. Schumacher cuts it back. Plays it to Perigin. Perigin on the ball, looking to make a move. Wildcat comes in and steals, fight for possession. Perigin gets back to it. Makes a move back into the middle. Tries to poke through, deflected away. Dahl to the ball. Dahl on the far side, drops it back to Beatty. Beatty tries to settle, plays it across to Schumacher in the middle. Schumacher with some room as he looking to make a move at the top of the box. Gets through the first guy, takes a shot, and saved by the keeper. Punted away by the Wildcats. Nelson and Calandra fight for possession. Goes over the top of both of them. One of you has to go to cover. You can't both play the ball. Throwing for the Wildcats. Nelson comes in and heads it away. Haley's there. And throwing for the Cougars. Perigin throws it up ahead to Haley. Knocked away by the Wildcats. Perigin into the box as Dahl makes the run, headed up into the air. Cleared away by the Wildcats to the far side. Bowman's over there. Bowman settles it down. Bouncing ball, plays it to Youngberg. Youngberg tries to chip it in. Beatty steps up with a good touch in. Stolen away by the Wildcats. Played through, over the top, and Calandra was able to send it back to the middle. Wildcats headed up into the air. Youngberg settles. Youngberg has time, chips it in. Haley comes over, and flag is up. Handball by the Wildcats. Or handball by the Cougars, I guess. Okay. Ball down the far side for the Wildcats. Sent through, and Stewart's able to get to it first. Stewart top spin ball to the middle. Over top the first line. Dahl's there. Bicycle kicked up in the air for the Wildcats. Into the middle for Schumacher to settle. Schumacher carries down the far side. has room to cut it back. Schumacher still on the ball. Plays it across to Dow. Wildcats come in and steal. Dow slide tackle. Wildcats still on the ball as Dow's fighting for position. Dow gets a touch on the ball and Perigin steals at the top of the box. Perigin cuts it back, makes the move to Schumacher on the run. Schumacher tries to settle, and Anritter on the follow and goes wide of the frame. Deflected away by the Wildcats. Will be a corner kick for the Cougars. Clock stopped for an injury. .25 on the clock. Wildcats leading 4-1. Injured player for the Wildcats is able to walk off with assistance, or I'm sorry, without assistance. Boney in the game for the Cougars as Haley subs off. Youngberg on the near side corner. Boney and Anritter in the middle at the top of the box. Dow on the far side. Youngberg sends it in right to the keeper. The keeper can't handle it, but is able to get back to it. And rolls it out to the near side as Calandra comes up to challenge. Schumacher's over there and is able to win it. Schumacher fighting for position and draws the foul. Oh! All right, so the Cassville player pushed Ben after the foul was called on the ground. It was the same thing that happened when Nelson got a yellow card earlier. Goal kick for the Wildcats, taken out of the back. Perigin steals in the middle of the field. Plays it up to Dowell. Dowell, I think, came back from an offside position. And flag was down, so I guess not out of bounds. Throw in for the Cougars. Anritter throws it into the box as Perigin's there. Perigin looking to set it up, chips it in, far post. Still loose. Bowman gets a deflection to Boney. Still in play. And rolls out for a corner for the Cougars. Ball sent in by Schumacher. Perigin's there for the header and scores the goal. Cougars back in at 4-2. 28:34 is the official time on the clock. Four to 2. Wildcats lead on the restart. Off the goal by Perigin on the header. After the whistle, the player reset the ball with his foot, and the ref let him play it again. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Ball played up ahead. Wildcats steal. Perigin comes in and steals it back. Perigin carries down the near side, plays it up to Dahl on the run. Over top of the back line, Dahl's fighting for possession. Perigin comes up. Wildcats steal into transition. Schumacher gets back to cover. Schumacher comes up and challenges, and Wildcats maintain possession. Perigin on the ball to pressure. To the back line for the Wildcats, sent in to the top. Nelson's there. Nelson heads it down. Beatty into the middle. Schumacher has time to turn. Schumacher on the ball, carrying to the far side, sends it over to Bowman. Bowman comes back for the ball, cuts it back to the middle. Bowman through and bouncing through the middle of the box. Wildcats try to keep it in and out of bounds. That will be a throw-in for the Cougars. Again, cleared away by the Wildcats. Another throw-in. Dahl takes the throw-in, or he will leave it for Perigin, actually. Perigin comes over to throw it into the box. Perigin throws it in. Schumacher gets up for the header, deflected off Dahl. Schumacher and Dahl come to it. Schumacher leaves it for Perigin, and just over the frame. Really good opportunity for Perigin. If he puts it on frame, that's a goal. Give space on the back, guys. Youngberg wins the header forward. Over to the far side for Bowman. Bowman can't control it. Out of bounds. Wildcats throw in. Down the far side. Wildcats still in possession as Youngberg comes over. Wildcats lose it out of bounds and Cougars throw in. Youngberg hustles down to take the throw in. Perigin gets a touch up ahead to Bowman. Bowman to the middle for Dahl. Dahl settles and leaves it for Schumacher. Schumacher fights for the ball. Can't stay on it as the Wildcats put into transition. Wildcats carry to the near side. Try to leave it to the middle, and Calandra is able to clear to Anreder on the near side. Anreder keeps it in. And throwing for the Wildcats as it went out of bounds. Perigin comes in. Nelson's there. Nelson chips it up to Perigin with some room. Perigin has plenty of room to carry on the far side. He's taking up space on the far side as he carries in. Schumacher in the middle. Perigin cuts in, top of the box, makes another move, gets into the box, takes the shot, and off the keeper, I believe, corner kick for the Cougars. Another good attack by Perigin, saved by the Wildcats. 25 minutes left to play, 4-2 now the score. Youngberg comes over to take the corner. Youngberg drives it in, cleared away by the Wildcats. Calandra comes in, settles it, plays it over to Nelson on the back line. Nelson will drop back to give space. Over to Beatty. Beatty opens up to receive. Good settle by Beatty as he plays it over to Youngberg on the far side. Youngberg looking at his options, chips it in. Boney heads it forward, and good on-frame shot by Boney with the head. Keeper's right in position to save it. Big punt up into the air. Nelson heads it forward. Boney comes up to play it. Wins it with his chest. Stolen away by the Wildcats. Perigin's there, gets a deflection. Boney comes back and leaves it for Perigin. Perigin has room. He's getting into the box. Perigin, one more touch, takes the shot and deflected off the Wildcats. Another corner kick for the Cougars. Schumacher comes over to take the corner this time for the Cougars. Sends it in. Perigin's there. Perigin heads it again. And off the frame to the corner, still in play. And out of bounds. Goal kick for the Wildcats. Subs coming in the game for the Wildcats. Sent to the near side. Calandra comes up to challenge. Calandra off the side, goes out of bounds, throwing for the Wildcats. Wildcats throw in. Anredder steals and out of bounds on the Wildcats, throwing for the Cougars. Calandra comes over to take the throw in, throws it down the line for Perigin. Perigin to the ball, chips it forward for Dow. Dow to the box and can't get there in time. And the goalie is able to step up and win it. Goalie low ball to the far side, settled by the Wildcats in the middle. Boney comes back to pressure. Wildcats chip it into the middle. Beatty's there. Beatty heads it high into the air. Youngberg comes back to fight for possession. Ball played through. Stewart will come up out of the box, or off the line, I should say, and get it in the box. Stewart punts away from the top. Top spinning ball to the near side. Perigin tries to get on top of it. Goes over top the first line. Perigin back to the ball in the middle. Heads it forward. Another head by Perigin over to Anredder on the near side. And off of the Wildcats, throw in. Okay, Wildcats get the throw in. Played up ahead to Nelson. Nelson chips it in as Dow will chase. That's going to be right in the corner. And Dow gets to it. Fight for possession. Wildcats send it away, but Perigin's there. Perigin cuts it back to the middle. Tackled by the Wildcats. Still on the ball for the Wildcats down the near side. Chipped ahead. Nelson and Youngberg chase back. Youngberg gets there first. Youngberg in the box is able to play it to the near side. Whistle. Youngberg's foul called, free restart for the Cougars. Youngberg plays it in the middle. Dow's there. Goes through and Wildcats clear. Beatty comes up. Beatty gets a touch. Fight for possession. Wildcats are able to get to it. Schumacher comes in and deflects away, but the Wildcats are still to the ball. Played through and good run by the Wildcats into the box, and that's a goal. That was just a really good overlapping run by the Wildcats to take advantage of that middle possession. And 5-2 now the score, 20-33 left in the second half. Subs coming in the game for the Wildcats. Schumacher in the middle gets fouled from behind. And free kick for the Cougars. Youngberg may try to put this on frame with the sun in the keeper's eyes. Chips it in. Headed down. Anredder's there. Anredder sends it in, but not enough on it, and the keeper's there to grab it. Punted away from the corner of the box. Gets over the first line into a chase, into the box, and shot. Goal kick for the Cougars. Youngberg back for the goal kick. Ball played in the middle. Headed into the air by the Wildcats. Into possession as Calandra comes up to pressure ball. Calandra gets a touch, pokes it away to the near side, and that goes out of bounds. Throw in for the Wildcats. Schumacher steals in the middle. Schumacher on the ball, carries back to the middle. Slide tackle by the Wildcats, is able to get to it. Played back to the middle. And Schumacher gets into possession, and Anredder clears. Dahl fighting for position. Drop back to the back line for the Wildcats. Chipped into the middle. Calandro steps up, heads it forward. Henritter trying to keep it in. Goes out of bounds on the near side. And throw in for the Wildcats. Ball in play. Wildcats played back. Boney's there. Wildcats are able to get to it first. Perigin comes over and makes the steal. Perigin chased to the far side, and the Wildcats play it down the far side line, out of bounds, thrown for the Cougars. Perigin will come over to chase the ball. Perigin looking for an option. Plays it into the box. Cleared away by the Cats. Calandro comes up. Controls the ball. Calandro cuts back. Over across into the middle. Gets a deflection. Schumacher comes up and steals. Drops back to Beatty. Beatty plays the ball off for the Wildcats, and foul called on Beatty. Free kick for the Wildcats. Ball played in. Youngberg plays it high in the air. Goes to the far side, and that'll be a throw-in for the Cougars. Youngberg throws it in down the line, headed up into the air. Fight for the ball. Wildcats send it through. Stewart comes up and is able to get it for the Cougars. Stewart rolls it out to the far side for Youngberg. Youngberg has plenty of room as he's able to carry up the line. Youngberg sends it into the top of the box. Cleared away into the middle. Schumacher steps in. Wildcats clear. And that goes out of bounds. Throw in for the Cougars. Dahl comes over for the throw in. Plays it back to Schumacher into space. Schumacher turns. Plays it over to Nelson on the back line. Nelson settles. Plays it into Youngberg. Youngberg over to Beatty off the mark, and Beatty has to chase back for it. Back to Youngberg on the far side. Missed touch stolen away by the Wildcats. Beatty comes in and steals. Beatty back to the ball. Beatty to Perigin in the middle. Perigin can't control it, and stolen away by the Wildcats in the middle. Perigin deflects back to Youngberg. Youngberg over to Beatty. Beatty back to Youngberg on the back line. Youngberg switches the field, or into the middle actually, for Dahl. Dahl chases back and drops it to Nelson. Nelson over to Calandro on the near side. Calandro carries down the line, looking to take space. Drops it to Nelson. Nelson with his right, switching the field. And handball on the Wildcats. Free kick for the Cougars. Perigin set up to take the free kick. Perigin and Youngberg both over the ball. Under 15 minutes left to play, 5-2 the score. Youngberg takes the strike and sends it over the goal. Goal kick for the Wildcats. Ball played into the middle. Nelson heads it over to the near side. Calandro comes up to pressure the ball. Wildcats try to make the run. Back into the middle. Played through as Youngberg one touches away to Calandro. Calandro over to Anreder. Back into the middle. Perigin steals in the middle. Perigin gets around the first defender. Up to the top of the box, takes the strike, but off the target. And goal kick for the Wildcats. Back spinning ball into the middle. Youngberg heads it forward to Peregrine. Peregrine tries to cut it back. Still getting defended, gets it to the far side. Gets the edge, and yellow card. That's an obvious yellow. Slide tackle from behind is a yellow every time. It's actually embarrassing that the ref wouldn't call that a yellow. Youngberg takes the strike over the goal, and goal kick for the Wildcats. Restarted in the middle. Youngberg's there to settle. Boney steps up, wins the ball, leaves it for Youngberg. Youngberg takes the shot, and the keeper's there to grab it. Top spinning ball to the near side. Calandro shields, and it goes out of bounds, throwing for the Cougars. Calandro throws it into Peregrine. Peregrine tries to send it up to Anredder. And out of bounds, throwing for the Wildcats. Under 12 minutes to play. Played into the middle for Peregrine. Peregrine wins it. Gets through. Still carrying. Gets to the back line. Takes the shot. And good defense by the Wildcats to deflect. Throw in for the Cougars. Peregrine comes over for the throw. And Schumacher on the run to Boney. Fight for the ball as the Wildcats try to clear. Anredder comes over. Anredder settles and sets up the shot. Takes the strike. And off the frame. Goal kick for the Wildcats. 11 minutes left to play. Hamlin subbing in the game for the Cougars as Peregrine takes a breather. Restart out of the back for the Wildcats. Played it into the middle of the field. Beatty settles and stolen away by the Wildcats. Youngberg gets there to prevent the through ball. Played into the middle. Schumacher's there to settle. Schumacher makes a move, gets through. Still on the ball. Schumacher taking space. Stays on it. Gets tackled at the top and stolen away by the Wildcats to the far side. Hamlin comes over. Wildcats play it through. And Calandro chases to the corner. Throwing for the Wildcats. Wildcats on the far side try to cut it in. Shot. Stewart's there for the save. Under 10 to play. Stewart side spinning ball to the far side for Bowman. Out of bounds. And throw in for the Cougars. Schumacher makes the run down the line as Bowman plays it forward. Dowell's there. Dowell cuts it back, still on the ball. Looks for Schumacher. Schumacher gets over to it, still on. Leaves it for Bowman. Bowman chips it in and out of play. Corner kick for the Cougars. Schumacher will take the corner. Ball across, cleared away by the Wildcats. Beatty's there. Beatty tries to settle down. Wildcat steal in the middle. Beatty's there to deflect. Nelson comes in. Nelson takes the shot with his right and goes off the frame. Another goal kick for the Wildcats. 8:30 left to play. Perigin back in the game as Hamlin subs off. Restart on the goal kick. Played into the middle. Heavy touch on the kick, and Schumacher steals. Schumacher fighting to get it through. Gets into the top, takes the shot. And Schumacher's called for the foul on the swim move. Free kick for the Wildcats. I guess he called advantage and then foul. So advantage for Schumacher for getting fouled, and then foul on him, and Wildcats get a free kick. Goal kick played up to the far side. Wildcats can't control it. Out of bounds, thrown for the Cougars. Beatty takes the throw in, up to Schumacher. Schumacher tries to settle with his knee. Back to the ball. Schumacher making a move to get around. And free kick for the Cougars. Quick restart by Perigin up to Anredder in the middle. Anredder settles and looking to take the shot. Cleared away to the corner for Bowman. Bowman back across to the middle and cleared away by the Wildcats. Settled on the far side. 1-2 connection play by the Wildcats. Played over the top. Youngberg's there. Youngberg shielding. Free kick for the Cougars. Ball into the middle to Dow. Perigin steals. Perigin on the ball. Gets through, Perigin will take the restart on the foul. 6 minutes left to play. Takes a low ball in. Stolen away by the Wildcats. Back into the middle for Perigin. Perigin sets up the shot. And bouncing ball into the keeper. Dow made the run, but the keeper got there first. Punted away. Top spin ball into the middle. Youngberg gets a touch. Played through. All the way across the box. And still in. Drop back for the Wildcats on the far side. Sent in. And that's a goal for the Wildcats. Perigin's down trying to get up. Perigin's able to walk off under his own power, it looks like. Looks like he's dealing with a cramp in his right leg. 5:15 on the clock for the restart on the kickoff for the Cougars. 6-2 the score. Youngberg now up top. Drop back to Dahl on the back line over to Nelson. Through to Calandro. Calandro carries. Cuts it back into the middle. Calandro still on the ball. Drops to Nelson. Nelson back to Calandro out of bounds. And throw in for the Wildcats. Settled by the Wildcats. Good move. Gets through first line back to Nelson defending. Cut across the box. Dahl knees it and shot, score for the Wildcats. .430 left on the clock. 7-2 now the score. Boney will take the kickoff. Played over to Hamlin. Hamlin switches it to Bowman on the far side. Bowman back to Hamlin in the middle. And Hamlin trips him up there. Free kick for the Wildcats. Restart a play. Keeper plays it into the middle. Deflected to Boney. Boney at the top of the box. Drops it to Anredder and stolen away by the Wildcats. Schumacher gets back to the ball. Stolen away by the Wildcats. Through ball played. Nelson's there to clear. Ball sent across the box, goes all the way to the corner. Wildcats win possession. Anredder fighting for possession on the corner as he's shielding the ball. And throw in for the Cougars. Spencer Jackson subbing in the game for Boney. Throw in down the near side corner for Calandro. Calandro over the first line into the middle. Mistouch by the Wildcats, goes out of bounds. Throw in for the Cougars. Anredder there to take the throw in. Plays it down the line for Hamlin on the run. Hamlin's able to keep it in. Cleared away by the Wildcats. Calandro's there. Calandro has an option in the middle. Still on the ball. Calandro plays it to Schumacher. Schumacher turns, has room in front. Gets challenged for the ball, drops it to Youngberg. Youngberg takes the strike, and keeper's right there to win it. Ball kicked away, out of bounds, thrown for the Cougars. Anredder's there, wins the ball. Gets through the two defenders, up to Jackson. Jackson fights for possession. Plays it back to Anredder. Anredder on the ball. Drop back to the back line for the Cats. Wildcats drop it to the keeper. Played to the near side. And out of bounds, throwing for the Cougars. 1 minute left to play. 7-2 the score. Calandra to Schumacher, goes over to Jackson. Jackson leaves it for Schumacher. Schumacher gets into the box, takes the strike, far post, and saved by the keeper. Hunter was there on the follow, but went wide of the frame, and goal kick for the Wildcats. Calandra comes in, wins it with his chest down the far side, down the near side. Cougars into Schumacher. Schumacher at the top of the box, plays it across to Hamlin. Hamlin takes the strike. Enrider on the run, and the keeper's able to get to it. Clears it away again. Calandra comes over for the throw-in. Into the middle for Schumacher. Schumacher can turn and shoot. Takes the shot and goes wide of the frame. That will do it for the game. Final score, Wildcats 7, Cougars 2. Thank you guys for tuning in. Here to take a look at our upcoming schedule. We are in Joplin the next 5 games. Next week at home, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday is senior night. We will have Ghetto Tacos taco truck out. So come by and partake in the senior night festivities, serving tacos from 3:30 to 7. Game time will be at 4:30. And then we have Thomas Jefferson and Joplin. So 5 games in a row in Joplin.